Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick dropping in on you. Guess what? It's Monday. So that means it's Money Monday. And we're going to talk about a broken model. There's nothing more frustrating than the insistence on forcing something that no longer works to continue to work because it's what you know. We have so many people doing that, and we're going to talk about the importance of shifting in our understanding, in our mindset, in our approach, in our practices to achieve success. And since it's Money Monday, that determination of success is going to be predicated upon how well you're doing in the area of finance. Before I get started, look. It's so important, and we're going to talk about this broken model, and you'll understand this as we talk. It's important to be able to control and manage to as high a degree as you possibly can uh, your revenue streams. Multiple streams of income is a way to ensure that you aren't hit hard if your primary source of income is interrupted. Whether that's a job, whether that's your own business or whatever, you still need multiple streams of income. That's something that has existed long before I came on, and it's never more prevalent of a principle now. One thing that I have done over the last 15 years is when I was forced to reinvent myself was create a presence online over and over again to take advantage of opportunities that were presenting themselves in numerous industries. And these weren't just industries where I hung my hat. It wasn't just my area of expertise. It was just simply industries that I knew I could put my foot in and gain some ground and gravity and create revenue, which I obviously needed to continually regrow and build what I was rebuilding. And I've done it over and over and over again over the course of the last 15 years. And I now have a course where I teach people. Well, I've been teaching it probably about 2 years now to other people. Now, I've always shared it with my clients. When I work with my clients, I shared it with them and I help them. But I decided a couple of years ago that I was going to actually teach the course that shows you the literal step-by-step process that I go through. I've gotten to the point now. It didn't start out that way, but I've gotten to the point now to where I can literally come up with an idea and present it to the online world and accept the payment as early as quick as a couple hours. Depending on the detail of what's going on. Obviously, it takes me a lot longer to build those courses that I've put online, but there are other things out there and so many different things. And in the 7-day online business launch course, I teach you all of these different things that are out there that allow you to make money, even in areas where you're not expertise, even if you don't have a product or a service of your own. There are so many different ways to leverage it, so many different opportunities. There's revenue sharing on social media. There's affiliate marketing. There is drop shipping. There is so much out there that you can get involved with and immediately create an online space. Now, this isn't magic. This isn't a get rich quick scheme. This requires work, but I teach you a step-by-step process to where when you take this course, when you finish, you're able to go out there and create an online presence step by step, everything from creating your website, your landing pages, your sales funnels, your niche, creating a business plan, conducting marketing research, marketing analysis, developing a customer intelligence um, grid to understand what drives your target audience and everything. All this stuff is important, but it is learnable, it is applicable, and it is repeatable in any industry, in any market. These are practices that you need to understand if you're going to start a business. No matter where you're going to start it at, you need to know these principles. And I teach this in this course. There's hours of video lectures. There's step-by-step processes. There is email support um, throughout the course. And this course now, if you get it, you will also get, now this is big, this is so huge, and this is only for today. This course is $599, $597 up front, $2 when you register. But you're going to also get the Mind Unleashed course, which is another $599 course, free. No, I take that back. The Mind Unleashed course is $27 today only if you get the 7-day online business launch course. But here's the big one. You guys have heard me talk about the Legacy Wealth Path to Generational Wealth course. This is a $2,500, $2,600 course. It's $2,595, $2,600 course. It's 18 months. It's 10 years of love and labor of me talking to some of the most brilliant minds on the planet in wealth building and investing and putting it together in one place. This is a comprehensive course. It's $2,595. If you sign up for the 7-day online business launch course, I will give you this course today only, free. That's free. Now, this is an 18-month course, so you're not going to jump on here and be a whiz in 6 weeks. This course is everything I've learned over 10 years of talking to some of the minds of unbelievable people. You'll see them because you'll see some of the questions answered, some of the people I've talked to. But I mean, everybody, and I mean, it isn't easy getting to these people. You got to convince them that you're worth their time. And so it took a lot of me building myself up online. So when they researched who was contacting them, they would say, okay, this guy's got this going on. This guy's got. So it took a lot. It took me growing me to get this, but I needed to talk to the people who are winning in this area to give it to you. Now you're going to get it, and you're going to get it. You're going to get it along with the 7-day online business launch course. You're going to get that, and you're going to get the Mind Unleashed course, which I think is extremely important. I believe 80% of success, no matter what you're trying to be successful in, is psychology. It's the way you think about something. It's your mindset, your perception, your focus, your paradigms. You get this right, you can do anything, and I mean anything. So the Mind Unleashed course goes perfectly with the 7-day online course. Instead of having to buy both, you can get the Mind Unleashed now for $27. Get the Legacy Wealth course for free. One other offer, and then I'm done. Hey, Cheryl. One other thing, and then I'm done. But that you should definitely jump on because that's the value of the day. But something else I did for people who don't have a plan. There's this old saying, if you're not planning to succeed, you're planning to fail. If you don't have a plan, you are definitely going to be tossed about. And here, the people without plan are normally exploited by the people with plans. That's the truth. That's the reality. You don't have a plan. So what I decided to do is, if in case you haven't been paying attention, you don't follow me on a regular basis, I've done a lot of time-intensive one-on-ones over the last 7-8 years. Well, no, actually 10, 12 years. Man, wow. I've been doing a lot of one-on-ones, working with people 6 months to a year, working with them, and I had an unbelievable amount of success. But guess what? That's a ceiling. Why? Because there's only so much time in a day. And I'm an empath, so I carry all that. So it's worn on me. Plus, it bottlenecked my company and darn near destroyed it because I'm study taking on, but I can't grow it. And the need to grow it because all of the things I'm trying to do and the way that I'm using it to touch people who are out of reach was just bottlenecking. So I had to step back so that I could scale out. And so what that meant was not taking as many one-on-ones. I still will take some, and I'll talk about that at another time, but I still will take some, but definitely not as many as I took last year, and definitely not before that, because I need to scale this out. I brought the people in that are able to help me do that, and we're working on it. They're holding me accountable because I like working one-on-one, but the scaling out part means that I can help people by creating programs and creating systems, which I'm also exceptionally good at. So I decided to create a system for people who didn't have plans. This system allows the team that I've trained to create for you a 6-month personalized growth plan. This 6-month personalized growth plan is just that. You're going to fill out 20 questions. You're going to take a DISC assessment, and you're going to take a personality assessment. And with that, we're going to build you a 6-month plan to grow you towards your goals. And so this plan is definitely worth over $1,000. We're giving it to you for $99. That link is in the box too. A personalized, and when I say personalized plan, I mean exactly that. While the system I designed is designed to plug in these questions, plug in this DISC assessment, plug in this personality, it's specifically to your goals, your desires, what you've written in those questions. So nobody else will have your plan. No two plans will look alike. This isn't a plug and play where we're just going to put your name on a piece of paper that we already had and send it to you, say this is your plan. No, we're building it for you, and we're doing it at $99. That's my investment in you, because trust me, you have to know it costs more than $99. But this is a way to help people. So again, $99, 6-month growth plan. That link's in the description box as well. Now, let's move into Money Monday, and you're going to find out why the 7-day online business launch course is so important. If you're like me, I grew up, I was reared by my great grandparents, but I grew up, born in the 60s, grew up in the 70s, born in the late 60s, 1967, grew up in the 70s, entered into my teenage years in the 80s, and young adulthood in the late 80s. And on down the line, here I am. And there's this model that was just simply passed down. Go to school, graduate high school, go to college, get a college education, get a job, stay on the job 30 years, work your way up in the company, and retire. That was the model. That's the model that the baby boomers used. And now we're finding out that many of the baby boomers are not going to, that many of the baby boomers who were able to create a retirement plan are going to outlive it. That's the first thing. People are advances in medicine. People are outliving the life expectancy of what was when they start setting up their plan by 5 years on average. Now, some are outliving it by 15 and 20 years. We got people living into their 90s consistently. And so what does that mean? That means that the old model doesn't work. And one of the things I tell people all the time is this old model doesn't work because the entire economy and mechanism has changed. We're no longer in the industrial age. When you were working for plants and manufacturers and all this stuff like that, yeah, you get on with a company and you get in their benefit package and you do this, and you come out and you retire at 62, 65, you die at 75, and everything's great, right? Well, that's not happening now for a number of different reasons. Number one is the 401k thing is actually hitting a lot of people harder on fees and fees and for whatever reason I'm drawing a blank, but 17 billion in fees are hitting 401k plans. That's 17 billion unaccounted for, because most people can't read and understand what they're paying for their 401k. They know they have their money in a 401k. They don't know how much of that money is going towards these fees. So that's that part of it. But here's the thing. In an environment where you don't understand corporate America, see, the entire corporate structure was never designed to make people wealthy. It was designed to make the elite wealthy. And the elite was determined by the elite. And so you had to qualify. If you weren't born into elitism, you had to qualify for elitism and prove you deserve to be there. And then you could work your way up and you could become a part of the elite structure. See, the corporate entity is made to make the masses work and use their skill set, use their creativity, use their energy, their effort, their time, and multiply that to make a small percentage of the people within the company extremely wealthy. And no matter how much you're getting paid at the bottom, you're not getting paid a fraction of what the people who aren't actually doing the work are. That's the corporate structure. Now, this was created long ago, and it's been optimized and maximized. The problem is now we're in an age where technology is changing the game. AI is on the rise. Communications technology is on the rise. A lot of things are being automated, but what you're seeing is a lot of people being released from their jobs. It used to be this loyalty thing. Remember, mom said, get on the job. Nobody's going to hire you if they see you keep losing jobs or you keep quitting jobs and going, you got to get on a job, you got to stay there. That was value in staying on a job for a long period of time. Now, that's not even frowned on by either side. Jobs don't look at, matter of fact, jobs have headhunters out trying to steal you from other companies if they see your value. They're trying to they got people out who make a living recruiting people from one company for another company. Now, the person, I'm not mad at the recruiter. Recruiter created a niche where there wasn't one. They go in and say, hey, look, you need this position filled. I'll go out and find the best person for you. Now, they're not going out looking at people who are applying to be hired. They're going to the places where people have performance records, where you're looking at this company who still wants them and saying, hey, there's a company over here with a benefit package that will, top what you're getting here. Now, here's what happens. In this, people start to realize I have value beyond what I thought I had. I have value beyond what I thought I had in this market. So people started to go out and reinvent themselves and start to create their own spaces. And that's why it's so important, because very rarely are you going to sit in a situation, even if you have a job that you absolutely love, the chance of that job paying you what you're truly worth, what your value is in the market, is not likely. Why? Because they're making money off of you. That's a business. That's their business. They created. That's how they're moving. That's how they're operating. So then what must you do? You must determine your value. What's the best way to determine your value? Create your space. When you create your space, you get to determine your value by what you deliver and by what the market will ultimately determine your value. Now, depending on what you're delivering within the market, you can elevate your value. So let's say you have a market, and based on whatever problem you're solving, that's all a business is. A business is this: people need this. I like solving problems as my business model. Why? People are going to pay to have that problem solved. I'm not real big on trends where people want stuff. So you don't see me doing a whole lot of wants. I've been in that market in the past. I've had clothing stores, shoe stores, and a bunch of other stuff. But that stuff is wants. You can kind of predict what a person wants. You can kind of predict buying habits. So you can still make money in that. But when things get tight, the want stuff sets down. The need stuff continues. People are going to pay for what they need, no matter how tight it gets. And so when you sit up and say, you got a problem, I can fix that for you. Let me show you what I can do. You just created a business, and now you can determine what they pay you. But they're going to pay you based on basically what the market's going, unless you create the market. What if you create the market by coming up with a solution to something that nobody's solved yet, or not at the level that you're solving it? Now you got your own niche, your own space, and you set the standard. If they want it, they got to come to you. If there's no competition, then they have to come to you. That's where your value goes up. You're always trying to create a space where people can only get what they want from you the way you do it. And so basically, a business is finding a problem and creating a solution. Then it's determining to do what you do at a high level. So it's about quality. It's not about going out there and say, I'm just going to throw it out there and I'm going to start taking money. It's about saying, I'm making an imprint. I'm creating a brand. And that brand is going to be a reputation. And that reputation is going to be expectation. And people will look at your reputation and your expectation of what you've done. People are also looking at consistency in your message. Are they all over the place in the sense where they're telling you to do this, and then you see them doing that, and then you hear them saying this, and then you see them doing. So that's got to be some consistency. That's this brand building thing. I talk about that in the 7-day online business lunch course. But what you're doing is finding a problem, creating a solution, determining that you're going to do it with a high level of quality, customer service, customer follow-up. Take it from someone who's done this for a long time. You're going to make mistakes. There are going to be some things that fall through cracks. It's life. It's not the mistake you make that's going to determine how people view you. It's how you respond to the mistake. If you're always placing blame somewhere else, if you're always acting like it's not your fault, even when it's probably not, you are probably not going to have a good customer service record. You're probably not going to have good reviews, and it's going to be hard to maintain. But if you respond to, I go out of the way, and it's stuff happens, especially when you got a lot of stuff going on. I've got Myriad Business Solutions, Odyssey Media Group, Master Fitness 21, Visionetics, the Financial Brain Trust, Legacy Wealth Academy. I've got all these things going at once. And while there are different mechanisms being managed by different groups, I'm responsible for it. And sometimes it falls through the hole. And sometimes by the time I finally figure it out, it gets to me, it's become a problem. And so you end up giving away more than what the situation was worth trying to fix it. But what happens? People walk away saying, number one, the one thing that anybody that's dealt with me is going to say, is I respond. If you reach out, I'm responding. You're not going to have to chase me down. I'm responding. Now, we may take a while to work through some things, but I'm going to respond to you. I'm not going to hide from you. We're going to figure it out. That's just that's a part of my brand. I'm accessible. You can get to me. But anyway, so you do that. Now that you got the problem solved, now that you got it, you're doing it at a high level. And developing the quality is something you build as you become better at it. You learn what you're doing and whatever. The biggest thing where you really get to set the niche at is uniqueness. There's something unique about you for a reason. You're not meant to be like everybody else. So then what happens? In this uniqueness, is a way that you do things that nobody else does. That's your ace. Why? Because in this uniqueness, you not only solve the problem, but you solve it in a way that only you would do it because it's your idea, it's your personality, it's your sense of operation and how you move. Well, what happens is you create this special little niche. Well, if people want it done, not just done, but done the way you do it, they have to come to you. So then there you are. People now have someone solving their problem at a high level and doing it the way they like it done. They're coming over. Now you're not just creating a client, you're creating a relationship. And in creating a relationship, you're creating customer what? Customer loyalty. In creating customer loyalty, this is where your business survives. Client acquisition, customer acquisition, market acquisition, all these things that are part of growing a business are important. You need to take a part of a market. You need to know what you're capable. You need to know what part of this market you best fit in. That's what marketing research and marketing analysis is about. But when you get in this market, how you're going to sustain this market or grow this market is going to be dependent upon the relationship you create with your customer. Customer retention is the name of the game. Yes, you need to acquire, but if your whole business model is set up on constantly having to get new customer after new customer, you're going to burn. Eventually, you're going to burn it out and you're going to burn yourself out. You're going to burn your model out. Or you're going to constantly be forced to come up with new stuff and do something to get the attention of new people. Whereas, and if you build something, you can always upsell the customer you have. Plus, loyal customers tend to bring to you people they know. So now you're getting referral business and you have the basis on which tough times can be survived within that is through that process. But now what you're doing is you're doing it for yourself. All you've been doing in a job, and this isn't me maligning anybody with a job. You do what you have to do to make a living. You do what you have to do to find your space and make sure you're doing what you need to do to take care of you and your family. I'm not maligning. What I'm saying is if you want the most out of life, you got to understand you're not going to get it in that sense unless you're the CEO of a company, vice president of a company, one of the lead attorneys in some firm where you work for them, but you are doing something, then you make enough money where you can take that money and invest it in the things you want to invest it in and grow your worth and your wealth and all this stuff. And eventually you're still going to want that desire. Once you really learn just how much you're worth, you're going to want to seize a lot of that value for yourself. And so you go out. And even then, what happens with me is what I find is when there's a company that sees a need to maybe work with me and they're saying, hey, we wouldn't mind hiring you. I'm like, okay, you can contract me. Why? Because I still own the value. You're contracting it to me, but you're not buying me. See, that's something, it's a mindset. So I'm going to contract. Now, I probably won't get a benefit package, insurance package and all the stuff like that, but that's up to me to figure out. That's up for me to get together and fix. But what I do get is to maintain ownership of my intellectual property, maintain ownership of my ability to move. And then if I decide it's not a good fit for me, we sit down and we determine what needs to happen to terminate the contract or to change the terms within the contract or whatever needs to be done. But I'm owning it. Why is that important? Because when I own it, it's mine. If something happens to me, it gets passed down. If I'm working for someone, that job gets given to the next person in line and my family is left without any of the income that I was generating. Whereas, and if I own it, then at the very least, even if nobody in my family knows how to run it, they can find somebody who can and sell it for that, or bring them in and hire them to run it and pay them and still have the ability to take what I'm leaving them and do something with it. The bottom line is your business is one of the best places to invest your wealth. If you're growing your business, if you're operating your business, you're growing your wealth. Your business is a part of your net worth. So it's important to understand that particular element of it. What used to work, the whole go to school, and what we're finding out now as we do research and we understand the market is that we have far too many people going to college, getting degrees, getting in debt to get the degree, and then never making enough money to pay off the debt. To me, it sounds like the degree costs more than what you are actually getting from the degree. And those are some of the things you have to look at. I'm not maligning getting an education and a degree, because if your passion is in a certain field, you'll need it. But what I'm saying is you got to have a different mindset and approach about how to do this, because here's what I can tell you. Here's what I can tell you. Plumbers, electricians, auto mechanics can literally have their skill sets and be qualified to work in their fields after they leave high school. They can literally make their first year out of internship 6 figures. They can take their skill set and immediately create their own business and work from that, and work and actually contract them their small business out to larger businesses when business is slow. So they can literally span anywhere from 6 figures to mid 6 figures within the first 5 or 6 years with a high school education and a certification in their particular skill set. Number one is they don't acquire a whole lot of debt in doing it. Some schools actually teach this in high school. If not, there are some technical institutes where you can learn it in under a year, and you can go out there. Obviously, you're working with your hands in this area, but it's producing more than the average person with a degree. And there's a level of freedom, there's a level of creativity. It translates anywhere in the world. Those are skills that you're going to use anywhere in the world. Those are going to be the skills that are going to be the hardest to replace with technology. But you've got to have a mindset to understand, even if I'm going to go to school, I need a plan. I need a plan. I need to understand how I'm going to use what I'm getting to create revenue streams that will allow me to cover any debt that I'm going to accumulate in the process of getting said degree. And so that needs to be a plan. It needs to be a plan that's marked out over time so you know exactly where you break even. The break even point is going to be a real big thing in business. It's the point that you invest till you get to the point you've earned that back and now everything else is sweet. Now, it doesn't mean it's easy. It just means that I have gotten from underneath the debt that I used to create the situation. And so now I can start breathing and start looking at how I'm going to invest my profits to grow my business. That's the scary thing, how I'm going to use whatever. And so you've got to even look like when you got to look at, there's this line that Jay-Z had in this, and I can't not think of the name of the song now to save my life. But it's this line he says, "I'm not a businessman, I'm a business man." And you need to see yourself, even if you have a job, you need to see yourself as a business. You are a business. And so you are the source of revenue generation, and you need to manage yourself as a business so that you understand how to create outcomes and you start to look at your value. And so you start to know how you should deal with people and what you should expect from people for your time. And you should start looking for ways to create revenue streams that doesn't require your time. That's the very definition of wealth. But you have to start somewhere. So that's the thing. The model that we grew up on, or our parents grew up on, isn't the model that's going to work for us. We're going to have to get out here. We're going to have to create. And this year is going to be massive. We're talking about AI replacing up to 300 million jobs by 2025. So by the end of next year, we could see an entire shift of the economy because of AI. Instead of sitting up panicking about it, wondering if my job is going to, look at how you can benefit from that. AI is an unbelievable, remarkable tool if you use it correctly. Take advantage of it. Get ahead of the trend instead of being behind it, running and hoping that you can catch up, and then panicking. So this is the thing. The old market doesn't work. You need to be creating your own spaces. You need to you don't need to try to figure this out when it all happens is another thing. Most people who I talk to that are out there have this story. And it's like, man, I wish you could talk to some of the people. The story is simple. I always wanted to start a business, but I was worried about this. I was afraid of this. And so I kept procrastinating. I kept procrastinating. Then one day my job moved overseas, or I got laid off or whatever. And then there I was. I had no choice. I had to get out there and figure it out because I couldn't get, nobody would hire me. So I had to get out. So now they could have transitioned into that a lot smoother with a lot less stress if they'd have just simply followed follow that voice on the inside that was saying this is what you should be doing, and go out there and create that opportunity versus being pushed into it, because life has a way of pushing you into spaces, and sometimes it's an extremely uncomfortable experience, but at least you're out there. My thing is, don't wait for life to push you out there. Go get it. Go get it. Be aggressive. Again, this is an opportunity that only lasts for today. If you sign up for the 7-day online business launch course, you're going to get the Mind Unleashed course for only $27. So that's a $599 course for $27. But the big thing is you're going to get the 18-month Path to Generational Wealth course, which is an 18-month, $2,600 course for free. And that's only until the end of the day. So tonight at 11:59 p.m., it's out. And you'll have to pay full price to get to the Legacy Wealth course, which I think everybody who really is serious about building wealth needs to take, because there's no courses for this. Even people who take finance courses and get licensed aren't being taught this, because if they were, they would be doing what the people who are practicing this, some of which I've had the pleasure of having as clients, and they are doing it. It's that simple. It works. It's not somebody got the hookup. This is how it works. That's why it took me so long to put it together. Now it's up to you whether you take advantage of it. It's out there, and I'm giving every opportunity for people to take advantage of it. So you can build your own business. You can also get into this course, which I'm excited. Anytime you put 10 years into building something, and people are looking at it and going, so when is it going to be up? When is it going to be up? And you're telling them, look, I'm still working. I'm still working. And they ask you, and they're looking at you like, you ain't building nothing, because nobody has the insight or the mindset these days to look beyond the moment. Everybody wants something now. Nobody sit up and willing to put something in and say, man, it's going to take a while to build this, but it's going to be worth it. And I thank God that I have, because of that. I have 26 books published. I have 47 companies over 35 years started and brought to profit. I have multiple courses up online. I have been able to do things that the average person hasn't done. And no, none of it's been easy. Hell, I've gotten my butt kicked more times than I care to mention, but I've got the experience that I can pass on to help many people because I didn't fold. And so what I'm trying to get you to understand, here's an opportunity. If you want it, go out there and take it. As I always say, I live my life on full so that when I leave this place, I die on E. I challenge you to do the same thing. On that note, I'm out of here. You guys have an unbelievable remainder of your day.